Maudsley is an artist who has been practicing in Melbourne since the 1950s. She went to the National Gallery School in the mid-40s, really at the beginning of a big shift in Australian art, and in that way Helen's career has kind of traversed these really important decades of the 20th century. She's still making work in her 70th year of practice, and so we're really thrilled to be working with an artist of such status and seniority. She talks about visual essays, the paintings as a visual essay, so in that sense she's referring to the fact that she uses forms and colour and shape almost like words and grammar in a sentence, in that they speak to each other. We can look to her works as quite cohesive reflections on the world around her.
The problem with all painting is, because you don't have a client like you do in any other profession, you know whether, if you're a doctor, you know whether you've done the job because the patient gets better. But you don't if you're an artist. You really don't, because there's no constant viewer. Therefore, you're doing it in a vacuum, as it were. You need a viewer to help verification, but you don't get one. And the other point about that is, if you get verification, maybe it's because you're trite, it's superficial. So you can't win on this. If you're admired, it may be you're being duped. And if you're not admired, well, maybe they're right, maybe people are right, maybe there's nothing there. There's what the artist says, the rhetoric, what the viewer says, but there's the pictures themselves. And we always have to go back to them, all of us, and try and work it out. If they're too big, they're too big. If they're too small, they're too small. So there's a rightness about the scale. So it's working out all this, and when you've worked out the scale, then you worked out the shape of the picture. You do a draft, the first draft, to the right thing. Well, then you do a second draft because the first one's wrong, and the third one, you go on doing the draft till you've got it. I try and put 3 coats on everything because that gives a lovely surface. I don't want an encrusted surface. I want a very flat surface that's going to show the very small differences in tone well, but also is going to show the lines so that I can draw thick lines or thin lines on a big area. But it's changing all the time as you do it because the colours alter. You know, you thought that yellow was right, but it's not. It's telling you what to do by this stage. I'm not telling the painting what to do, the painting's telling me what to do. So then eventually, after however long, you just get fed up with it and you can't do anymore, then it's finished.
Most importantly for me, it's amazing to celebrate a woman artist and to bring her work to the public sphere in this way, and to say this is a practice that we're going to really look closely at and take time to celebrate.